We will look today at 3 fundamental jewelry making techniques. As you can see, earrings here are made with simple loop technique. To create a simple loop, we need to bend end of the wire at 90 degrees with chain nose pliers, and then with our round nose pliers, putting them at the very end of the wire, wrapping it towards ourselves and creating the loop. This loop can be used to attach any dangle, and we will create our own dangle using this beautiful lapis lazuli bead. This dangle could be for earring or used as a pendant. To create a dangle, I'm making a spiral at the other end of the bead, and if you want to watch how to make a spiral, click on the video which I added to the end of this video. The second technique is creating a wrapped loop. To create a wire wrapped loop, we need to bend our pin or piece of wire, leaving around half-inch end, bend at 90 degrees with chain nose pliers, and then using round nose pliers, wrap the shorter end around one of the branches of round nose pliers, and then continue making the loop until it is complete. Short end of wire should be at around 90 degrees to the main part of the pin. Now we're going to wrap the short end of wire under the loop, creating neat coil. We usually do 2 or 3 wraps, and it looks well when this wrapped loop close together, and we may need to bring them together with chain nose pliers. We ended up with eye pin with a wrapped loop, and we need to cut the sticking end as close as possible to the pin, and to prevent it being sticking out and scratchy, we will squash it with our chain nose pliers. So this is how link looks with 2 wire wrapped loops. And now we will look how we create this link. So it's the same process as we looked previously. I usually pre-cut my wire the same sizes for each link to make sure that loops look as similar as possible. And we go through the same process. We need to cut our end as close as possible. And I always check with my finger if there is any sticky bit, and if there is, I squash it with my chain nose pliers to make sure there is no scratching. And now we put the bead in, create a wrapped loop on the other end. We leave it about 2 millimeters between a loop and the bead in order to provide space for our wraps. And we usually use 2 to 3 wraps depending on look you want to achieve. We hold our loop with the pliers. It could be round nose or chain nose pliers. Now we can see the process. So I made these pictures to provide illustration of the process. The next we'll look how to create a link between the wrapped loops, because wrapped loop is a closed loop and you can't open it. So you need to create a link. We start the same way as previously, but this time we will leave our loop open, and then we will thread through our previous link and continue with the same process of wrapping a short end around the pin and finishing our wrapped loop. Now I'm going to connect this chain with part of the chain I made previously. So I create this loop, but I don't close it, and I thread the rest of the chain. So I personally prefer to do links separately, and then create the links with wrapped loop to join the links together. You can also use a different way of joining these links or connectors with open jump rings, or with links with simple loops. There is a lot of different options. I have one of the links with simple loops on this chain, which is heart-shaped, and you can just open and close your simple loop, and therefore attach links with wrapped loops. Now, if you want to know how to use simple loop technique to create a chain, click on the video on the left bottom corner. If you want to know more about making your own wire-wrapped earrings and how to make a spiral, click on the video on the left top corner.